it appears to me that the global problems that we are dealing with is severe mental illness. And we don't know how to define and diagnose mental illness. And we see the victims of crime, the reaction to the criminal action that was done to them is not normal, and we will label that as being mentally ill. Like, if you kill, one of my children, I would be emotionally affected by that, but my emotional reactions would appear to the outside world that I'm dealing with an emotional mental illness. And that's just like insanity, that if you love your children and somebody murders them, it is a normal human reaction to be upset about it. It's not a mental illness. And you can also assume that there would be rage, that there would be anger, that you would want to do something about that. That's normal. But in today's world, we see that as, no, if you're a victim, you're mentally ill. The criminal creating the criminal act is normal because they're happy, they're the winners of the game. So, right now we're dealing with leaders that are truly mentally ill. One of them is definitely within the Venus Project. I won't let that one out because that seems to be coming across as the answer to this problem, but they're just as insane as our current leaders, and they can't see it. People that are dealing with psychopathic behaviors don't recognize their own behaviors. They constantly think that they're right all the time, and they will never, ever face their insanity by having a conversation with somebody else that questions their insanity. But right now, I'm going to question Obama's sanity. And here's a little clip. One way you can tell mental illness is when your core values, you don't live yourself. You just want the rest of the world to live your values, but you don't live them yourself. You have all of these life rules that you think the globe should live by, but you can't live by your own rules. And here in this speech, you'll see Obama saying, violence is not the answer. Is that really true? Does he believe his own words? And that we should have freedom of speech? Okay, so does that mean Obama's not going after Julian Assange for his freedom of speech, or are they heavily trying to get him into the states where they can charge and kill him? The young soldier, I'm really bad at names, but are they now going to release him because keeping him in confinement for, supposedly releasing government secrets, it's violent to put him in solitary confinement, and is that their answer, is violence? Because Obama is ruling the game right now, and he ain't following his own life rules. How many wars is this guy in to, the guy seems to be all about violence while he says violence isn't the answer. He's saying we should all have networking and be able to communicate, as he's trying to kill anybody who tries to communicate. They put pressure on, Visa and PayPal and any business that is associated with you having freedom of speech, like Twitter. I mean, Twitter was now told to hand over all of their records to anybody that's being involved with freedom of speech. So, can you see Obama's insanity right now? And usually, people that are insane hang around other people that are insane. So let's look at all of his friends. Who's Obama's biggest fan, biggest supporter, biggest friend? Oprah. So, connect the dots. They do not live by their rules that they want everybody else to live by. Oprah is one fun example of not living her best life, yet she wants you to live your best life and wants stuff, and she will advertise all the stuff that will make your life happier and not really deal with the core issues of what makes a human actually happy. So here's a clip of Obama. Can you see his insanity? And we are dealing with global insanity. Those that think they have the answer, if they are acting, anybody who has a rule that they don't live by themselves, trust they are mentally ill. And usually they have a victim that's probably really angry that they will label as mentally ill, but no, they're acting perfectly normal. If you're angry with something, you're more healthier than those that are mentally insane, that are the criminals. But it's very easy for you to fall into the same mindset through the anger that they create. If they can make you angry, they have the potential to make you just as insane as they are. So the best advice I can give anybody is accept the reality that we've got insane leaders in charge, and violence is not the answer. If violence is your answer, then you are just as bad. You have been transformed into a mental illness and you don't know it. It's normal human reaction to get really pissed off and anger, but the second you go into war and you know war and violence is bad, then you've jumped in over to the other side and have officially become insane if you are after peace and all you do is create war. So there are some solutions to this, but you do have to remain calm and gain some information. And basically it's about us having to save ourselves, not look for a leader to save us, because they're too friggin' insane to know how to save you. So you have to gain your sanity and save yourself. And war, violence is not the answer. Communication is, but not war. Peace out.
Hope right now is that violence is not the answer in solving these problems in Egypt. So the government has to be careful about not resorting to violence, and the people on the streets have to be careful about not resorting to violence. And I think that it is very important that people have mechanisms in order to express legitimate grievances. As I said in my State of the Union speech, there are certain core values that we believe in as Americans that we believe are universal: freedom of speech, freedom of expression, people being able to use social networking or any other mechanisms to communicate with each other and express their concerns. And that, I think, is no less true in the Arab world than it is here in the United States.